Summer light rests softly on Lillehammer. It is July 1973. The air is mild, the streets unhurried. People move slowly along the sidewalks, carrying shopping bags, speaking in low voices. The sound of bicycles passes through the town. Birch leaves flicker in the afternoon wind. The hills above the town are still green, folded gently around the valley down below. The river Luggan moves in long, quiet currents. The town feels at ease, ordinary, peaceful. There is no sign of what will happen here, or what will follow after in the middle of this quiet town. A sequence of small, precise movements begins. A group of foreign visitors have been staying nearby. In apartments, in small hotels, they come and go like any other travelers. Nothing about them attracts attention at first. Among them is a man named Ahmed Bouchiki, a Moroccan waiter working at a local restaurant. He lives a simple life with his Norwegian wife, Toril, who is expecting their first child. He walks to work each day along familiar streets, greeting people he knows. On the evening of July 21st, 1973, the air is warm and clear. Shops are closing, light lingers late on the hills. Bouchiki finishes his shift and begins walking home with his wife. They talk quietly as they move through the narrow streets toward their apartment. Around the same time, several people in the town are also moving. Unremarkably, yet with intention, they are visitors from abroad. They have rented cars, they make brief phone calls, they watch. Their purpose, known later, was part of a larger operation. Following the 1972 Munich Olympics attack, Israel's intelligence service, Mossad, had launched a covert mission to locate and kill those believed responsible. This global campaign had already taken place in several countries. Now, some of its operatives had come to Norway. They believed that Bouchiki was Ali Hassan Salameh, a senior figure in the Palestinian organization Black September. The identification was wrong, but by the time that mistake would become clear, the operation had already begun. At about 10:30 that night, as Bouchiki and his wife walked home, a car stopped beside them. Shots were fired. He fell to the ground. The car drove away. Toril ran for help, calling into the still summer air. Within minutes, the silence of Lillehammer broke. People came from nearby houses, drawn by the sound. Police and ambulances arrived quickly. Bouchiki was pronounced dead shortly after. The investigation began immediately. For a town like Lillehammer, this was something that did not happen. Officers searched for witnesses, for vehicles, for the smallest clue residents recalled seeing foreign visitors in recent days, people who did not fit easily into the town's quiet rhythm. Within hours, some of them were identified, a rental car was traced. A hotel registration noted unusual names. A woman's handbag left behind contained currency, film, and coded notes. Piece by piece, the picture began to take shape. Within days, Norwegian police arrested several suspects. They were carrying false passports from countries including Canada, Israel, and the United Kingdom. They gave inconsistent stories, some claiming to be tourists, others unable to explain their presence. Through questioning, a larger network emerged: safe houses, communication links, and a command structure that extended far beyond Norway's borders. It became clear this was not a random act, but part of a coordinated intelligence operation. 7 individuals were eventually arrested. 5 of them were convicted by Norwegian courts. 2 were released without charge. The others fled before they could be detained. What remains of the case today exists mostly as objects and documents, photographs of the scene, taken in soft black and white, hotel receipts, and rental agreements, passports that look genuine but are not, a map of Lillehammer marked faintly in pencil, a discarded film roll, its images never fully recovered. The official record is extensive but fragmented. Each page holds small details: a time, a name, a a registration number, but none capture the human quiet of that summer evening, the sound of the river moving past the bridge, the air heavy with the scent of grass and rain. Evidence, however thorough, cannot hold the atmosphere of a place only fragments remain. A car key, a hotel room number, the mark of a bullet in a quiet Norwegian street. Some believe the Lillehammer operation was the result of a rush to act, an intelligence mistake caused by faulty information. Others suggest the identification was questioned even before the shooting, but that momentum carried the plan forward regardless. There are claims that the agents' communications were incomplete, that photos were misinterpreted, that orders came from multiple channels, none entirely sure Israel later acknowledged that its agents had carried out the killing, though it maintained the operation was intended for another target. Several of those arrested were released after serving short prison terms. Others were exchanged later for hostages or returned quietly to their home country. The Norwegian government protested formally, and diplomatic relations between the two nations were briefly strained. For years afterward, the event remained a rare instance where a covert operation had been exposed in full view of the public. It is possible, some say, that the mistake altered the entire course of the covert campaign that followed. Others argue it merely revealed what had been happening unseen elsewhere. The truth of those decisions, the briefings, the identifications, the moments of doubt, remains locked within classified files and fading memory. Today, Lillehammer looks much the same as it did in the summer of 1973. The streets are calm. The houses along the hillsides look down toward the river. The town has grown, but the air still carries that same stillness found in mountain valleys. At night, streetlights reflect softly in windows. The sound of passing cars is faint, absorbed by the air. People walk home from work or from the train station, their paths crossing the same streets where those earlier movements took place. There is no visible sign of what happened here. No monument, no plaque. Only the ordinary rhythm of a Norwegian town, moving quietly forward, its history folded neatly beneath its calm exterior. The Lillehammer affair remains both known and not fully known. Its outlines are clear. Dates, names, outcomes. But the inner moments, the thoughts of those who acted and those who were affected, remain unreachable. Ahmed Bouchiki was buried in Morocco. His family continued their lives far from the place where he died. The agents returned to their countries, some to other assignments, others fading into anonymity. The story endures not for its scale, but for its quiet dissonance, an act of global consequence carried out in a small, peaceful town. Time has moved on. The hills above Lillehammer turn green each summer. The river still runs its slow curve through the valley. Evenings fall quietly now, with the same soft light that once settled over the streets. And though the events have been studied, recorded, and retold, a residue of uncertainty remains. The silence after action, the pause between knowing and not knowing. In the fading light, the town seems untouched, yet somewhere in its stillness, a shadow of that July evening remains, present, unspoken, and unresolved.